Good afternoon, my movie loving brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon on the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel, where we talk about all things movies, movie news, TV, and other screen-related news. I am, of course, your humble host, Guy Toothman. I am joined today with a co-host, my friend and colleague, Lucas Farney. Lucas, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. It's a little cold out. Finally, cold weather's finally hit, but it's good otherwise. I'm happy to be here, so.
Yeah, it is definitely getting chilly out there. That is faux show.
Faux show.
Guys, if you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can have your movie news when you need it, where you need it. Also, something we're doing around here is we're giving away a brand new Xbox Series S. And again, who doesn't want to win one of those? Christmas is coming up. I'm sure you know somebody, nephew, cousin, uncle, sister, goldfish. Somebody wants an Xbox Series S. And there's a video up on the channel with lots more information about that. But to give you the rundown, a quick rundown, all you have to do is send in a super chat during today's live show or any live show that we have when we have one, and you can send in a super chat for as little as $1.99. Make sure you ask us a question when you do it, if you do it, and that super chat will enter you into the drawing to win said Xbox Series S. And yeah, all we have to do is hit 20K subs. We're at 19,400, 300 now or so. So only 700 more subs to go. And we will be giving that Xbox away. So hopefully we can get some people on here entering in to win that bad boy. Also, guys, if you're new around here, don't forget, the way we like to do things around here is we like to go over a few main topics. And then when we're done with that, at the end of the show, we like to take any comments, questions, super chats, or things that you've left down in the comment section below for us to go over. So make sure you're doing that, and then make sure you're sticking around to the end to see any questions you have get answered. With that being said, we are going to jump right in to our first main topic today. Our first main topic today is this. So we know that Discovery bought Warner Brothers, and when they did, Walter Hamada, who was kind of the lead of DC, Warner Brothers, and all that, was more or less let go, right? So this is coming to us. Let me see if I can pull this article up here, possibly. Here we go. This is coming to us from the Hollywood Reporter. And so, yeah, it looks like that Walter Hamada has signed this new multi-year deal with Paramount to oversee their horror films, which is very interesting, right? We know, I mean, obviously he has some history with horror, but I want to read a little bit of this article. Walter Hamada has found a new studio home, one that will have him move away from superheroes and return to his horror roots. The former DC Films president has inked an exclusive producing pact with Paramount, the studio announced Tuesday. The move comes just weeks after he departed his post at Warner Bros., where he oversaw DC for 4 years. Prior to that, he worked on the New Line horror properties such as The Conjuring. And that's really what got him famous and popular and got him the job over at DC. And, he didn't have a lot of time over there at DC, and it's like nominating a good president with a bad situation. And that's exactly what it was. He was president. He got the job, but he inherited a really bad situation, right? Things weren't going well at DC. Under Walter Hamada, though, there was a lot of wins, right? You had Shazam. Shazam's a good win. What's it called? Wonder Woman. You had
Wonder Woman 2, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So you have a few good films in there. Black Adam, even though it didn't come out while he was still president, was definitely produced and made under his watch as well. For at least 4 years. Aquaman is another one. Joker.
Jeez, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there's a ton. I mean, he did have lots of success. He obviously had lots of success in the horror genre before, like I was saying before. So this makes sense that he comes back to horror. The new deal, which is effective January 1st, so this hasn't gone into effect yet. Also, we talked about on the show yesterday about Smile, which is now available on Paramount Plus. I will be checking that out tonight, and we will be talking about it on the show hopefully tomorrow. Is part of this part of the studio, right? So he inherits this. He inherits a couple things that are doing really well right now for them. This is cool. I'm glad to see him getting another job as a head of something. Clearly, he can do his job fairly well, and he's able to have successes. Again, we mentioned the Joker, Aquaman, lots of things that he had, and not only that, Joker, won Academy Awards too. So these movies are not only financially successful, but they're critically and audience well received as well. So this is good to hear. I'm glad for Walter Hamada. I'm excited to see what their horror does going forward. It was kind of Walter Hamada that fathered in that whole Conjuring MCU or Conjuring CU or whatever.
Conjuring.
Right. Yeah. So I can see lots of more stuff like that going on. But yeah, Lucas, you're hearing this. Give us your thoughts. What are your thoughts about Walter Hamada signing this new deal?
Well, first of all, I just kind of want to clarify. So when they say, he signed this new deal, is this, because I remember it was a couple years ago now, but it was Paramount, right, that was talking about doing their monster universe, right, with Dracula and like Frankenstein. Is
that all failed?
Right.
They shit canned all that.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is that, is it possible that they're bringing in Walter Hamada, who has now experience, obviously, with couple cinematic universes? Are they trying to maybe revamp that in some way or other?
I mean, it may be too early to try to mess with that. I don't know. I mean, the only successful thing you had out of that, to me, was the Invisible Man. So,
well, and they got what was it, The Mummy with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Terrible. Don't get me wrong,
Horrible
but
movie.
I just mean I remember them. I mean, they were talking about doing
it really
Frankenstein,
it all really failed.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
After
after the Mummy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Invisible Man really didn't even It wasn't. It was just own thing.
It was the Blumhouse production, right?
Right.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but it is part of. They own,
same,
it is part of the Monsters universe, but it was a completely different thing. It wasn't even, So.
Yeah, but it was like I didn't ever see it, but I remember the trailers for it. I remember actually hearing people talk about it. It was great.
It was awesome.
Like a great take, a modern take on it.
It was awesome.
On the classic. And so that's, to be honest with you, Hamada did have quite a few hits. Joker, It, whatnot.
Yeah, I just watched it again today with my daughter. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, well, and especially with his horror movies that he's worked on, kind of has revolutionized it, or re-revolutionized it, and which is necessary,
right?
Always. That being said, he was not my favorite exec over when DC was still having it. Whether it was his fault or he was dealt a bad hand.
But he also made great decisions. Like, for instance, who he made horror movies with was James Wan, right?
And he then brought him
James
Aquaman
Wan
over.
in to direct the Aquaman, and we're all at the time like, what?
Right.
I mean, we know he's good at what he does,
Sure.
but this doesn't make sense. And that ended up being $1 billion movie. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, absolutely. No, don't get me wrong. I think he's got great talent. He's got great ability. Clearly for a good vision for directors and whatnot. We don't know behind the scenes how much of the bad decisions that were made before Discovery bought Warner Brothers, how much of that was he involved in and whatnot. But I'm willing to put all that behind me because he's going back to his horror roots, like you said, and that's really exciting, man. I mean, he really has a lot of. I was just looking through his credits here, and man, he does have a lot. He's got Lights Out. He's got the Conjuring ones. He had the Nightmare on Elm Street. He was part of the original Final Destination. So he's really he's really good at modernizing and making, because it's so easy to cliche horror. You know what I mean? We've seen it. Sure. We see it still with Halloween Kills and stuff like that. But he's got a great track record of solid horror movies. And all that being said, he's also got experience running a cinematic universe. And I'm not gonna lie, I remember hearing about the monster universe, and I know The Mummy was terrible, but the people they had involved in it with like Javier Bardem, I think was supposed to play Frankenstein's monster and stuff. Like I can't remember any of them now,
Right.
but I was honestly kind of really excited about it. I was thinking that would be really cool, like modern adaptations of all those classic horror novels and stories.
Right.
I think we're ripe for them. And if they're bringing in Hamada for this reason to revolutionize or do a modernized take on classic tales and following his track record, I think it could be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm super excited for him. Glad it happened. Guys, let us know down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on this new deal that Walter Hamada signed? Did you like him at DC? You hate him? You wish he never got nothing? You glad he's back to his horror roots? Definitely let us know down in the comment section below. Okay, with that down, we are going to move into our second main topic today. And our second main topic today is this. So about a month ago or so, or even longer possibly, me and Shane talked about here on the channel that Jamie Lee Curtis had kind of come out and said in an interview, like, hey man, with all these reboots and remakes and things going on, I wouldn't be opposed to making a Freaky Friday sequel. And I was telling Shane at the time, that sounds cool. I mean, with all the shit that we do get like this, I'm not totally opposed to Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, who both played like prominent women actresses in my childhood. Coming back together, seeing them together again, and switching now at this older, a different age, and who knows what's going on in their lives. I always thought that would be kind of interesting. Plus, we did, and Lucas, I don't know if you ever checked it out, but we did get that Freaky movie. Did you ever have a chance to check out Freaky?
I don't think so.
It's got Vince Vaughn and a girl switches. You know what Freaky Friday is, right?
Duh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So a girl switches with a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's Vince Vaughn is the serial killer.
Right.
That movie was awesome. Guys, if you haven't seen Freaky,
it's like a mix between Freaky Friday and Chucky almost.
Kind of, yeah. If you haven't seen it, go check out Freaky. It's really cool, and it's kind of a play on the whole Freaky Friday thing. But yeah, so I thought with the win of Freaky too, with how successful it was, at least like, how critics and people seen it, I thought that, this would be a good idea. It wouldn't be a bad idea, bring him back. Plus, Jamie Lee Curtis is kind of hot right now with the whole Halloween reboot and stuff, and these reboot things are really big. Plus, we haven't really seen Lindsay Lohan in something like that would be, on the big screen again and stuff like that.
She does have a Netflix movie coming up.
Sure, but that's not on the big screen.
Fair enough,
But yeah, so... I want to go over to this article here from Variety, and I'm going to read a little bit of it. It sounds like Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis will be making a Freaky Friday sequel. Quote, there is no scheduled date, but we're talking, Jamie Lee Curtis said to me last night at the Los Angeles premiere of the Glass Onion Knives Out mystery, which sounds awesome in itself. People are talking. The right people are talking, she goes on to say. I'm 64 in a week, and Lindsay is 36. That's awesome. A sequel lends itself so beautifully, Curtis says. We're both committed to it. We're both committed to it, and it's not ours to make. It's Disney's to make, and I think they're interested, and we're talking. Let's just try to get another one made, Curtis says. We are a ways away. So it sounds like that like she said, basically, right? They're a little ways away from still making this happen, but it sounds like Disney's interested. They clearly want to do it. This sounds like this is a no-brainer. Maybe this doesn't go big screen. Maybe this is a Disney Plus release, right? Maybe we drop this straight out onto Disney Plus, and it seems like something that would be great for Disney Plus. But yeah, she goes on to say Lohan gives her character who in lesser hands could have been one note, a soulful sense of humor, vulnerability, and she's hilarious when tasked to play completely insufferable, flexing her comedic muscularity went over at okay, yeah, this isn't even her quote now. But anyways, yeah. So this is interesting. Like I said, this would be a no-brainer to me. And it would be fun. Why not? Why not do this? Freaky Friday was kind of a big part of my childhood. Then there was, of course, the Rob Schneider movie. I don't know.
Hot Chick.
Yes, yeah. Hot Chick, right? Hot Chick was
a string of. I mean,
a big part of my growing up.
Me too. Me too. Actually.
So yeah, and all those are kind of Freaky Friday related. But yeah, you're hearing this. What do you think, Lucas? What are your thoughts on the whole Freaky Friday reboot or sequel in this case?
Sure. Honestly, I'm surprised it's taken this long, and the time that we live in, where recognizable IP is so like prominent. Everybody, right?
We're IP driven world, that's for sure.
Right, especially Freaky Friday though. I mean, like I grew up watching that movie for sure as well, and dude, I know so many people our age that love that movie. I mean, you could it's one of those ones that, yeah, and especially a lot of people my age kind of recognize, maybe not so much just Freaky Friday, but Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. This is a standout like role for within their career. So I'd be so excited to watch it, whatever form it comes. Like, it would be cool to see it on the big screen, but
sure.
I see it more likely being a Disney Plus show.
Me too.
I think it's great that Lindsay Lohan, her career has turned around and people are willing to come back and let her back in, and Jamie Lee Curtis as well in some similar ways. Her career never tanked as much as Lindsay Lohan's, but it's awesome that these two great women have had such successful careers, and I would love to see this continue to go, man. I love body switching movies. They can be cliched, but Dream a Little Dream, like 17 Again, they're always just so great, and so it's so interesting to see. Yeah, I would just be very fascinated to see what the story looks like. Are they going to go back to the same Chinese restaurant? Right. What happens? Are they going to switch bodies with their own kids?
And now one of them's not a mom; she's a grandma.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then the other one's a mom, but hasn't been a mom in 30 years or whatever, so there's a lot of little fun stuff you can do with it, right? But yeah, guys, you're hearing this. Clearly, we would check this out if it's a Disney Plus release, for sure, we'd check this out, because then we don't even got to go to the theater or do nothing. We got Disney Plus, we just pop it on. But what do you guys think? Is this something you want to see? Are you interested in it? Would you go out and see it? Would you rather see it on Disney Plus? Definitely let us know your comments down in the comment section below. Okay, with that down, we are going to move on to our third main topic today. And our third main topic today is this. So, on kind of the same subject of sequels we're going to get into here, a while ago, it was announced that there was this True Lies series coming, and now we have a date that it is coming in February. And this is interesting because just on the channel last week or so, me and Shane were talking about, James Cameron and Avatar and how he has been spending so much time making these Avatar movies. And we wish he did make more things like True Lies, right? It was just such a good movie. It's like one of the best action movies ever made. And yeah, so this is an interesting thing. We did check out the trailer for it, and we do have a release date now. And like I said, I'm going to jump over here to this article from Collider and read a little bit of this. True Lies series, inspired by director James Cameron's 1994 hit action comedy of the same name, has set a release date for next year, Deadline has reported. The series was initially ordered to pilot in February last year by CBS, but was then delayed for further development, which is very interesting, right? It comes from showrunner Matt Nix, who also wrote the pilot script, and director Anthony Hemingway, while Cameron serves as an executive producer. As I was telling Lucas, that pretty much means absolutely nothing in this particular case.
I was going to say, it depends on the executive director.
Sure.
Sometimes.
The series features Steve Howie and Ginger Gonzaga, who look great. They look like they're having a lot of fun in the leading roles in an ensemble cast. Much like its inspiration inspiration, the 1994 classic starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis as a married couple in need of marital rejuvenation. The True Lies series will focus on its central couple, and this is interesting and cool. So we were talking about it, and we were like, "Is this continuing the story? Are these the same people?" Obviously, you can't use Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis anymore, right? Because it's a little past the time to be doing something like that. But this is still really cool. The trailer was kind of fun, actually. It kind of drew me in a little bit more than I expected it to. I went into it thinking, True Lies series, didn't know nothing about, but it's coming out soon. But yeah, trailer was kind of good. I liked it. It had a lot of little fun moments. It seems like that kind of Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of vibe of, two badass married, a badass married couple, and yeah, I kind of thought it was fun, and I had fun with it. Is this something I would rush out to go see or check out? Absolutely not. Not even in the slightest bit. I can't even remember where it was. What was this? Paramount? I can't even remember.
CBS.
Yeah, that's right. So definitely not likely. But yeah, so it will premiere, though, on Thursday, February 23rd at 9 p.m. For those of you that are interested, I'm sure there's people out there, and that's why we're reporting this news today. But yeah, so Lucas, you're hearing this. You checked the trailer out. I know it seemed like you weren't as interested. What are your thoughts, man?
It's not that I wasn't as interested. It's just I've never actually seen the original True Lies, the James Cameron movie. But
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy talk on the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel.
I know it's just one of those ones that's slipped through, but I would say, I mean, it looked fun. It looked like you said, kind of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or like, did you ever see There Will Be War? No. Or whatever with you know which one I'm talking about, though. Tom Hardy, Reese Witherspoon. It's kind of like just like this romantic comedy almost, but it's got that like action spy thriller element to it.
Yeah,
with Chris Pine.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I never seen it all, but I seen like a piece of it one time on like TV or something.
Yeah, and
it was kind of fun.
Right, it is. It's an enjoyable. It's not.
I'm not a big action dude in general.
Right. Well, I'm not, but and same with like a romantic story. But if it's there, man, if you can draw me into it, I'm pretty easy to be drawn in. But I'm at the same time easy to be turned off of. This, I will say, has got me at least intrigued, if nothing else. I think the part that intrigued me the most about it, other than that, it is a TV series based off of a James Cameron movie from the 90s, but the main two actors in it are, we were just talking about this right before, it's what's her name, Gonzaga something from She-Hulk, the best friend from She-Hulk, and then the Harry, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, is, have you ever seen Shameless?
No, but my mom loves that show. I know what it is. But
me too. So it's played by Kevin. For those of you that know what Shameless is, he's the neighbor, and I love him as a character, and as an actor, he's pretty great as well. I think both of them have shown they've got like comedic chops for sure, and like I'm not rushing out to watch this either. Especially because it's a TV series airing on cable, which I don't even have cable anymore. I don't know really who does, right? But I'm sure it'll be on Paramount Plus or whatever, and maybe I'll turn it on and see what it's about. But like I said, it's not something I'm thrilled about.
For sure, and I totally get that. I understand that. Like I said, it's not something that I would usually rush out and see either, but I actually kind of enjoyed the trailer. So that being said, guys, definitely let us know what your thoughts are on the True Lies series coming. We have a date for it now, so if you are looking forward to it, when you can start getting ready to check that out. But yeah, definitely let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Okay, with that down, we are going to move into our fourth main topic today. And our fourth main topic today is this. So, the kind of same train that we're on here. We're not getting off the tracks just yet, guys. So there's a National Treasure series now, a sequel series coming to Disney Plus, and I believe, if I can pull this article up, bear with me for a second. I believe we have a release date for this bad boy too. In 1 month, I believe it was December 14th, correct? Yeah. So December 14th, in 1 month, Disney Plus is leading viewers on another treasure hunt, this time in the form of a TV series with National Treasure, Edge of History. Following the footsteps of its movie predecessors, Edge of History introduces a new protagonist as she tries to solve the mysteries of her past. Ahead of the release this December, Disney Plus has shared this new poster. Oh my God, it's crazy. Do you see this?
Illuminati.
Crazy. There is a trailer up. We did check out the trailer. As I was told, Lucas, going into this, I have never seen any of the National Treasure movies. I know this sounds fucking crazy to most people because A, I'm a huge Nick Cage fan and almost everyone knows it. And B, I love Treasure. Who doesn't love Treasure? and nothing I love more than like a puzzle, right? And me and Lucas used to sit around playing puzzle games.
Escape rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, and escape rooms we go to quite often and stuff like that. So I love stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of shocking that I've never seen it, but I have never seen it. And I did have lots of friends in high school, and even now today, when I tell people, they'll be like, dude, you got to see it. You would love these movies. And I'm sure I would. I just was in a whole different zone in high school, and when those movies were coming out, I think the second one came out, I think I was in college.
2007, yep.
Or was that when the second one came out? Oh,
the first one was like 2004.
Okay, then I was in high school.
Yeah.
That was when the second one came out. And I remember it being kind of a big deal, but I just didn't care. That being said, I watched the trailer. Here's my thoughts. It looks, I mean, this is definitely something that I probably wouldn't even give a chance. Maybe if I heard this is like, so good, maybe I'd give it a shot or something. But like I was telling Lucas, even at that point, I would probably go back and check the Nick Cage movies out before I ever did that. But yeah, so we have a date for it, December 14th. That's just around the corner. So that's why I wanted to report on it so people know that are excited. Again, I know a lot of people love this franchise. And again, we're in that IP-driven world. So Lucas, you have a lot more insight probably on this series because you have seen those Nick Cage movies. Give me your thoughts. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, so the main thought I have right now is kind of response to what you said a bit earlier and just now, actually, in that the more that I think about it, I would love to sit down and watch those movies with you and then watch this show just for the hell of it, if nothing else, just because we don't have another TV show really going on right now. But also because, I didn't know you in high school, but now knowing you, I mean, we'd nerd out about, like, we're not kidding about going to escape rooms. Like, the one that we have here, the main one closed, so we're a little bummed out about it. But, man, that's my favorite part about the movie, I think, is the just the treasure hunt of it, the intrigue, the twists, the turns, and then also I a big fan of like American history, and it kind of it intertwines that together, like the Book of Secret. Never mind, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it. But I think you would enjoy those movies a lot, and I'm like honestly pretty thrilled about this show. After watching the trailer, my excitement hasn't gone up or down by any means. It's okay. It's going to be, I don't know. I take that back. It might have gone down just a little bit. But also, I think the other reason is that, like I said, it was 2007 when the last one came out. And man, it was a big deal. They were talking about doing a third one like immediately, like turning around and doing it. And I was like, let's do it. And now here we are, 15 years later, finally about to get a sequel to it, but it's a TV series. And no Nick Cage. Who else was in it? Diane Agron, I think, was in the original one as well. And then Justin, the guy from the hungover guy from The Hangover.
Hungover guy?
The hungover guy from The Hangover. Doug.
Oh yeah.
He's also in it.
The guy that's not in The Hangover.
Yes. The guy that
he doesn't even
kill
count.
your character. Yeah.
Right, yeah, he's the one dude that's not in the group, but is.
That being said, he is the one of the original three, at least, that appeared in the trailer for this, and is listed on like IMDb and stuff like that, that he's coming back. I don't know. I think a big reason that I did love that original series, those original two movies, were Nick Cage. It is Diane Kruger, by the way, and Justin Bartha is his name. The trio of them being like, treasure hunters and the things that they get into was awesome. And especially Nick Cage, man. He's over here like, there's a map on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah,
he's the only one that can sell that kind of stuff,
I bet.
And so I'm kind of nervous that it doesn't seem that he's got any involvement in it.
It's a map on the back.
Yeah. Yes.
I can see it. I haven't even seen it. I can see it. Like he's serious. He's like ripping his shirt off.
They're like
he's
squeezing lemon juice on it and then baking it, holding up to the fire.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Is God, if it weren't Nick Cage, it would be so goofy.
Right.
But you're kind of like, oh wow, I'm into this.
Right. But yeah, guys, you're hearing this. Like I said, most of you guys are probably big National Treasure fans. What are you guys' thoughts? Are you excited for this series? Would you rather got a movie? I know it seemed like a lot of people wanted another film. And then there was a lot of people that were like, hey, if Nick Cage ain't there, don't make another one. And then there was rumors that he may make like a small cameo in this, and who knows. But definitely let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. All right. With that down, we are going to move on to our fifth and final main topic today. And our fifth and final main topic today is this. So, Lucas, it's kind of been a lot of buzz going around with Wakanda Forever's release about how a lot of fans, it's leaving a lot of MCU fans divided, I feel. There's a lot of people like me, and maybe even you, that enjoyed their time at the movie theater, but didn't think it was that great of a movie. I said it before, and I say it again, that I think that without Chadwick Boseman actually passing away, this movie probably wouldn't be a good movie, or I wouldn't have enjoyed myself. And proof positive of that is, like I asked you, Lucas, when I asked you if Chadwick Boseman had asked for more money and they said no and told him to fuck off and he walked away, and they made this same exact movie that we just seen. However, Chadwick Boseman's sitting in the theater watching it with us, would we enjoy this movie as much? And I think the clear answer to that is no. Definitely not. We as fans would have been like, dude, pay him or recast or da-da-da. And look, I totally get everybody's point of view. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that grew up, especially young black men who grew up with T'Challa as their hero, as their Black Panther, and they read these comics and they spent time and they had the posters and I totally understand that for you guys, it really probably sucked to see your favorite character kind of just killed off screen. There it is. It happened. I totally understand that to an extent. My point, and I said it on the show yesterday, is that you can't keep life out of art. And the fact of the matter is, he did die from a disease. That's actually what happened to Chadwick Boseman, at least, right? So it kind of made it surreal that they did that. I said this 3 or 4 years ago when they decided not to cast, and people were like, "What should they do? What should they do?" I said, "You know what? They should say he died." And people are like, "But what killed him? What killed him?"
A mysterious disease.
Cancer.
Or a hidden, right.
A disease. What killed Chadwick Boseman? I mean, because, again, he brought so much to the character T'Challa. You can love the character T'Challa, and you can grow up with the character T'Challa and all that, and your relationship may be completely different because of that. But the truth is that 90% of the planet that has a relationship with T'Challa is because of Chadwick Boseman's performance in the freaking Black Panther movie as T'Challa. Without that, most of us wouldn't even know the name T'Challa. Or any of the shit that's going on in Wakanda or with any of that stuff, right? So we kind of have to associate T'Challa and Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman. It's hard not to. So again, my thoughts on it are, I totally understand that it does feel like that they didn't quite do the character justice. I totally understand that, but they were trying to have their cake and eat it too, and that's what that last scene was about, right? And that's why we all hate this the most, is because that last scene was just fucking annoying and stupid. Because you killed T'Challa, and then you're like, but here's T'Challa. And you're just splitting hairs now. You're doing the thing like with Gamora. Well, Gamora's dead. Well, but this Gamora's alive. But it ain't our Gamora. Well, Loki's dead. Well, Loki's alive. But it ain't our Loki. And it's getting old. And I don't want to be splitting hairs with all these characters constantly. And listen, there's a lot of things in this movie that don't make sense and that are plot holes and all that. Listen, this movie year for Marvel has just been god awful, in my opinion. It's been the worst year for Marvel since I've started watching these movies, period, end of story. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I started watching these films in 2017, and that's when Thor Ragnarok came out. Then, we rolled right into Infinity War in 2018, and then Endgame in 2019. And Black Panther 1, too, even. Right. We had lots of really good stuff. Black Panther 1 is, I say it all the time, probably the greatest standalone film of the MCU, because it's just not MCU. It's so not MCU. And yeah, but anyway, like I said, I totally understand people that have a real deep connection with the character T'Challa being upset with the way that they just kind of kill him off screen. We could get into like so many things, how come the heart-shaped herb didn't keep him from dying, and then if it wasn't keeping him from dying, then why the fuck was Shuri trying to make a new one in the beginning to help him? How was it going to help him to eat more heart-shaped herb if the current heart-shaped herb he had inside of him wasn't fighting off the disease? I could go on and on about this movie, like I said, but overall, I actually enjoyed it, and I thought, what's his name, Namor, I thought really brought a lot to the story, and I thought the Angela Bassett's performance was Academy level, and that kept me into it for the majority of the film. And then when she went away, Letitia Wright's performance carried the movie, and I felt a lot of that grief in her character. Again, yeah, it may be weird that as soon as she takes the heart-shaped herb, she's now a black belt in all mixed martial arts. Yeah, that's weird. Again, lots of plot holes all over this movie, and that's not what I want to talk about. But what I want to talk about is it leaving fans divided. And like I was telling you, Lucas, there's also another way that it's leaving fans divided, right? And that's the fans almost like me, I would even say, that are just kind of getting to the point where I'm just like, it was all right. That's kind of how I felt all of Phase 4. Literally all of Phase 4. Even though Spider-Man No Way Home, I really enjoyed because of the nostalgia of it. Overall, it wasn't the greatest movie. It's not a top 10 Marvel film. Nothing that came out this year is a top 10 Marvel film. In fact, some of the films that came out are bottom 10 Marvel films. I would say Thor Love and Thunder is a bottom 10 Marvel film. I would say Eternals is a bottom 10 Marvel film. A lot of these Phase 4 films just haven't been great, man. I don't care what anybody says. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. And Black Panther 2 was just another example of that. And that being said, so even for someone like me who enjoyed what they did, it's kind of just like, man, is this coming to an end? Am I getting comic book fatigue? Am I just tired of these same repetitive MCU heavy plot driven stories? Because the truth is, they all kind of start feeling, as it's sad to say, formulaic, and they feel like there's a lot of boxes being checked as we go forward with these movies. And it feels like we haven't had really that original kind of movie like we did with Black Panther, right, in a while, since like then. But yeah, so then you got the fans like I said, almost like me, that are divided in the sense that even though they didn't hate this movie, overall, now that this ends phase 4, we're looking at this whole thing going, man, do we really want to continue dedicating our time and spending all this time on a channel talking about it and going to these movies and all that if they're going to keep, declining in how good they are? And I think the answer to that is obviously no. But yeah, Lucas, I'll let you touch a little bit on this. I know you know some of the stuff I do, and you hear that fans out there, like I said, are a bit divided on the whole idea that I heard a lot of people say stuff like Disney or Ryan Coogler or whoever was just capitalizing on Chadwick Boseman's death. And that to me is such an ignorant and arrogant statement to make. It's ignorant if you believe really. That. Yeah. Then like I told you, Lucas, then you believe the Titanic shouldn't have been made, right? And if it
Schindler's
did,
List,
and since it's Schindler's List, sure, but whoever made that was just making it to capitalize on all those Jews' death. That's the reason they made Schindler's List. Does that sound real to you? That's fucking asinine. That's stupid. They didn't make it to capitalize on 6 million Jews' death. They made it because it is art and life is art, and that's what happened. And it sucks sometimes, and I'm sure if you were a Jew in a camp that had to experience those things, watching that movie may trigger things for you and these things. And my advice to you would be this: don't go to the fucking movie. If you are an ex-confinement camp person and there's a movie about Jewish confinement camps, it's probably safe to say you shouldn't go to it. It is what it is. But don't be mad when the movie delivers and the movie's like, oh, well, it's about exactly what I went through. Well, what the fuck did you want it to be about, dumbass? You wanted it to be about what? I don't understand this. Again, life is art, and you can't keep life out of art. You just can't do it. And those of you that think that Jeffrey Dahmer series shouldn't have been made are just as stupid and ignorant. Again, these things happen. We can't just keep them away and hide them away and worry about every single person's feelings whenever we make a freaking movie. That's so annoying. We cannot take in consideration how you, me, some jackass on YouTube feelings are. My feelings don't fucking matter. At the end of the day, who knew Ryan Coogler or who knew Chadwick Boseman better than me and Lucas and everyone on YouTube is Ryan Coogler, Letitia Wright, and all these people that were actually around him and enjoying actual time with him. And if anyone has the chance to say what would honor him or wouldn't honor him, I would assume to say they have a lot more say than some jackass on YouTube. And that includes and not limited to myself. But that being said, I've ranted long enough. Lucas, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you, because we obviously were talking about this last night and prior to, but I kind of really just formulated into words based off what you were saying. Man, if you were, we'll take the Schindler's List example that you were talking about. If you were a Jew, a Jewish person that was in one of the camps, unless you've gone through a lot of therapy and you've come to terms with it.
Good for you if you have.
Absolutely. And that's what you want. And that's what I'm getting to, though, is that if this movie is going to be triggering for you, maybe avoid it until you can deal with those triggers. But that being said, I think that's the point of movies like this, right? Is so that, because it puts you at a detached
movies
distance.
Are meant to make you feel.
But it draws you in, right? It's cathartic. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So absolutely, man. I mean, I wasn't a Jewish person who, was enslaved in concentration camps and whatnot, but I can watch Schindler's List and bawl my eyes out and feel the pain of those people. I'll never have actually experienced that, but this is the closest I will get to it. And now that you have a better understanding of those people.
That's right. So one day, if you were to actually meet an actual Holocaust survivor, you have a lot, just from literally watching Schindler's List, you have a lot more understanding of this person.
Right.
And that is, that's what the movie's job was for. That was what it was meant to do.
Show the story.
The same thing with Black Panther Wakanda Forever was grief, right? We all deal with that. And it all comes on different levels. You know, you had the mom dealing with the loss of her son and the loss of her husband, right? And then her daughter's abducted. That grief is in itself something. But then you have the daughter who's lost her brother, lost her father, and now lost her mother.
Right.
I mean, there's just so much to it. Listen, guys, if you don't think that shit doesn't happen, it does. It does happen. And more importantly, with the Chadwick Boseman situation, it did happen. He did die of a mysterious disease. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know what the hell cancer is. We don't know how to fix it. And that's the way it is and the way it always will be as far as I'm concerned in my lifetime, at least. I hope that there's a cure or an understanding of cancer in the coming years, but it's just not, it doesn't seem so. And again, I would just say, if the heart-shaped herb can't heal it, then probably humanity can't either.
Right. No, I mean, you know, we can get into a whole discussion about whether or not the pharmaceutical companies already have cures for cancer and they're just withholding it, all that. I think the reason it's mysterious more so, though, for Chadwick Boseman and his circumstances, that, I mean, he was diagnosed in 2016. Nobody heard a word about it until he had passed away, pretty much. I mean, maybe very, like Kevin Feige might have known. Outside of that, I don't know how much more.
Listen, how long have I been saying that this movie is going to be Chadwick Boseman's funeral?
Oh yeah, memorial, awake. I mean,
we've all known that collectively,
it's a celebration of his life.
Going right, while also mourning.
Well, yeah, that's
the death funeral. Of
awake,
right, exactly, and we knew that. The trailers told us that.
Yeah.
Everything about the movie led us to believe you're in for this shit. You know what to expect.
But the thing that's what I love about it is because it is, yes, but not only is everybody in the audience grieving, so are the actors, man. And it's
and I
such
think that's
a beautiful
the
way.
Part.
Right, you are not alone. You are not alone, and
sure.
that's what. Man, I don't care how bad these Marvel movies get if they continue. Whatever, I'm gonna keep watching them as long as they don't sell out totally. But the thing I'm getting to is that's the beauty of movies, man. It's community. It draws people together. It helps us grow together, laugh, cry, ball together.
Yeah, like I said, movies are meant to make you feel. And if you can't handle how a movie's going to make you feel, don't go see it. Don't go see it. It's just that fucking simple,
Well,
man.
especially if you know going into it that you were going to feel that way, maybe don't.
Like if you're Chadwick Boseman's brother and you're like, man, I ain't even got, if people can't even say a C word and I literally start, I have a panic attack. Don't fucking go see the movie, Chadwick Boseman's brother. Wait it out. You can see it in 4 years after you've handled this shit, or whatever. Maybe you never see it at all. Guess what, guys? I've never seen Requiem for a Dream. I've started it 132 times, but I get through about 6 minutes of it and realize, this is not fucking for me. This is not how Key wants to feel today. And that's just as simple as I see it. If that's how you feel, get up and walk the fuck away, man. Don't get on YouTube and bitch about shit. I don't want my channel and our channel and the things we talk about to be the things that we hate. We want to talk about the things that we love. And when things aren't good, if Black Panther Wakanda Forever, if I absolutely hated it, we wouldn't have did a spoiler discussion on it. I wouldn't have done those things because I just didn't enjoy it. I'm not going to talk about, because at the end of the day, if I don't like something, all I'm going to have to say about it are bad things. And if I have 6 fucking people in my room and we're all saying those bad things about it, how is this diverse? How is this bring, any kind of, it's just, I think that, like I said, my thoughts are on it. If you can't handle the way a movie is going to make you feel, then just don't go see the movie, man. And if it starts and you're in the movie and you didn't expect it, just get your fucking dumb ass up and walk out of the movie. Yeah. It's not that hard. It really is. How many movies have you seen me walk out of?
Oh, enough.
There you go.
No, but I was going to say, even like, I know what you're talking about with those. We won't even screw those guys. Sure. But that being said, if you didn't like Black Panther, I feel feel very much so that we still would have done an open spoiler, because even if you hate something, I mean, it's rare where I've seen you like absolutely hate a movie or something like that. And even then, like, we could we'll still have respectful.
But like the Suicide Squad is a perfect example. I would not have done an open. All you would have heard me do is shit on that movie. Right. And I don't ever want to come on my channel and just shit on something. Like, if I don't like it, I just don't want to talk about it. Or I want to just tell you, hey, I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Right. And that's the other thing, is it's always okay for us to have different opinions of each other. Lucas could hate the movie. I could love the movie, and that's okay.
It'd make for a very good spoiler discussion.
Right.
You know,
but not everyone has to agree with our opinions on everything about how films are. And I think when we all
don't.
Yeah, we don't do this show and have these opinions for you guys to come in here and have fucking how many ever people in the live chat just all agreeing with every single thing we say. That's not what we want to say. Jesse Bailey was just in the chat earlier talking about Freaky Fridays played out. That's what he said. You heard me say, hey, I think we should get more Freaky Friday. Concept, yeah, he said it's a tired concept.
Body switch.
Right, okay. And guess what? I don't hate you. I don't hate Jesse Bailey now because of it. I'm not going to tell Jesse Bailey, get the fuck out of my chat because you don't agree with me. So the thing is we can have differing opinions and still be movie loving brothers and sisters. And that's why I start every show with, how you doing, my movie loving brothers and sisters? Because that's at the end of the day, that's what we all are. We're all just movie lovers here to talk about it. Sometimes I'm going to like shit that you guys won't. Sometimes you guys are going to like shit that I don't. But all we can do is be authentic to the people we are, right? And at the end of the day, I think, again, if you're going to be a crybaby and you're going to be, oh, this movie's hurting my feelings, or it's making me feel and I don't want to feel, then just don't watch the damn movie. That's how I feel about it. Lucas, you got anything else to say?
No, yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think the thing that with those with that other channel you're talking about is that's their channel. From what
that's most channels on YouTube. Like, just like me and my wife are talking about, is it's easier to get clicks with hate stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just about to get to.
It always is.
Man,
it's like the dark side, right?
That.
It's just like the dark side.
Yes. And
it seems quicker and faster, but at the end of the day,
poignant,
it's not fulfilling. It's the dark side.
Well, it's what it's like Yoda. It's like Yoda says, man. He says that you don't become a Jedi and then you're never tempted by the dark side again. It is a constant choice for good, to choose the path of the light instead of the dark. And you know what, you guys, if you want to hate on your movies on YouTube and whatever, good for you. I pity you. Right. But whatever.
But the thing is as a Jedi, it takes years of training to get anywhere.
A lifetime.
Where with the dark side, it just takes one commitment. Like one, just you being there immediately overflows you with abundance of power. Because again, it's the quick, easy route, right? But it also isn't
corrupts you into
right, and it gives you the quick, easy stuff now, but over time, it's not as great, right? It's not as powerful. It's not as good. It's not as all these other things. And that's why, like I said, here on the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel, I want to talk about things we love and specifically things we enjoy as movie fans, right? And but yeah. But with that being said, guys, go ahead.
I just had like two last thoughts.
Go ahead.
Even just lost the other one. Well, one. That overall, I'll agree with you that like Phase 4, out of the 4, has been the most disappointing of Marvel. I think this was easily still. I'll stand by what we said. Post show or post movie, that this is one of the better ones of Phase 4 for sure. But I'm kind of just now recognizing too that. With this movie, in addition, as the final like chapter of Phase 4, Phase 4 has been about grief. Mm-hmm. Truly, I mean, look at WandaVision.
It started with WandaVision, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And even Thor: Love and Thunder for all is whatever. Yeah. You got this. You've got Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yep.
I mean, Doctor Strange is
Yep, for sure.
And obviously everything following Endgame, it has been a lot about grief, and it's kind of been heavy. There's been a lot of they've tried a lot of things. which has led to a lot of missteps. But, you know, I still, at least as of now, there hasn't been, I mean, Hawkeye was the only one where I was like, okay, not that great.
Right.
But other than that, they've all been, it's still been good enough to where I'm going to keep watching it. At least probably through phase 6. I know that takes us up to like 2026, but I like to finish a story. And, you know, if it ends up being terrible, like King Dynasty and Secret Wars, maybe I'll put it down after that. But I doubt it. I mean, they're enjoyable. I love, it is formulaic, but it's the hero's journey too. And I'll continue to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right. I mean, to me, one of the greatest lines in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Vision right before he doesn't exist anymore while never existing, says to Wanda, what is grief if not love persevering?
Just tear up right now.
I mean, come on.
Good.
I mean, come
It
on.
is.
I mean, that's so true. And that is exactly,
Dude,
that means even after we're gone, even after he's gone, we still love Chadwick Boseman.
We do.
And our grief is a fucking proof of that. It's fucking fact that we love him. And I think that should mean so much more to us than some silly movie or some silly character or how much you loved a comic book character. All of that shit. I think that our love and the grief we feel for Chadwick Boseman should mean a lot more to us, you know. Also, something else he says that really, you know, is my favorite thing, which is right before he like starts to like turn into dust and fade away. He looks at Wanda and she says something like, "Are you scared?" or whatever, and he's like, "Shit, what do you mean? I just had a family. I was an Avenger once. Who knows what I'll be next."
Oh, you're talking about, yeah.
And then he just fades away. And
it's so true,
And that's
man.
so true, right?
Yeah.
Is that at the end of the day, he was just happy to have what he had. And that's how we all should feel. We all should be more grateful for the things that we have in our lives.
Well, and that's what I was about to say too, is that maybe that's the problem that's why there's so many people like those guys on that channel. So many people that, God, they just love, they can't help but hate. They can't, and maybe it's because we are not emotionally mature enough as people. Like, I think some of us more so than others, but sometimes, a majority of times, it seems that people don't totally know how to grieve with their emotions.
Yeah, that's a lot
grief.
of it too, right?
It is.
They don't know how to handle their own feelings.
And they strike out and
they just want to not feel it.
Fuck this
Get it out.
movie.
How dare you make me feel this way?
How dare you make me feel this way? No, and I get it, man. Dude, we all feel it. We are all human. We all
get it. Yeah, you wanted to cry and you hated you felt that way.
But
we felt the same way, bro.
maybe shut your mouth every once in a while. Sometimes. I'm not trying to be insulting or rude, but you guys are missing the point. I think with a movie like this and the response to it, it just is maddening to me because it really, like, I think the best part of the movie is and is the ability of its characters to cope with grief. And for you as an audience, if you're sitting there, you're wrapped in it, it's cathartic.
Yeah.
You know, you are Shuri at the end on the beach burning your funeral clothes.
Right.
And letting Chadwick Boseman memory be with you forever, but letting all the rest go. And man, that's just what I want for all people in the world, is to be able to be honest with themselves and open. But part of that is being open to being loving and being open to being hurt. And like you said, what is grief if not love persevering? And,
sure.
And, I think that's what it's about at the end of the day. So, pedestal, soapbox off, whatever.
For sure. But yeah, guys, let us know how you guys feel about all this. Like I said, I know that most of you guys have seen Wakanda Forever at this point, and let us know. Did you like it? Did you love it? Is it making you feel divided? Do you feel like you don't want to watch MCU movies? Definitely let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. All right. With that down, guys, that is it for our main topics today. We're going to move over. I'm going to move over here to the chat section, and we're going to check out some chat stuff. Let's see here. So Lucas did ask early on what our favorite Lindsay Lohan or Jamie Lee Curtis roles are. I mean, I got to go with Halloween for Jamie Lee Curtis, just because that's what I've seen her in the most. It was most iconic to me. For Lindsay Lohan, I mean, I don't even remember some Disney Channel shit or Nickelodeon shit. I don't even remember what it was that I remember watching her in, but a bunch of those kind of movies. I don't know. She kind of reminds me of Hilary Duff too. So they were like in that same time frame and around the same age. But what about you, Lucas?
I mean, Freaky Friday would probably be a standout for both of them. Halloween, obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've seen Jamie Lee Curtis in a movie where I was like, woof. That was a bad performance. She's always great, always a standout.
Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once yet?
Not
Oh, man.
yet.
Yeah, she's brilliant in that.
I know. I didn't even realize she was in it until you just said that, actually.
Yeah.
So, even more so. But, like, Knives Out, she's great in that and whatnot. Lindsay Lohan, oh, man. I'd probably have to say The Parent Trap.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, The Parent Trap.
I figured that's what you were saying. But, I'm a twin myself.
Yeah.
And so I always loved it. But and honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Freaky Friday, with just how many sequels and spinoffs and reboots and things like that, I can't believe it's taken them this long to do Freaky Friday.
Right.
And now maybe we should be expecting a Parent Trap 2 any day now, right? Or a reboot, maybe, but
that'd
be cool. I'd like to see that.
Jesse goes on. Jesse says that he watched the new Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie. I keep seeing it up there. I'm not quite in the Christmas vibe yet. It seems like something we maybe would check out. They did one like this kind of last year, holiday romantic Christmas movie. And I thought maybe we'd get to checking it out. We never did. So, who knows? I do agree that to an extent, Freaky Friday is a tired concept, which also Jesse Bailey says. However, I would just say this. I'm a big fan of The Office, and one of my favorite quotes from Dwight in The Office, if you know The Office, you know who Dwight is the number one weakness of humans is nostalgia. Only to the eyes, the other weakness. But I believe that nostalgia hits us all in a certain way, and it brings people out to the theaters and stuff. So if it's good and it's nostalgic, we'll go see it. Jesse says he didn't like it because she played a character much younger than she is.
Sounds like Jesse.
Classic Hollywood. Yes, we were talking about the one with Nick Cage. He was talking about the National Treasure. We're not sure if it's his daughter. Jesse Bailey asked, "Is it Nick Cage's daughter in the Treasure series?" It seemed like they were kind of going towards that in a way, or hinting around it a little bit.
Now, this does not prove one way or the other. The characters do have two different last names. Like Nick Cage's is Gates. Or
sure, but she could have took her mom, or maybe she had a stepdad, or who knows,
Yeah, for sure. I will say though, it kind of seems like they're. Notably, Nick Cage is not in it, whether that's because of scheduling conflicts or whatever. But then with the trailer, they're talking about, you find the secrets of this treasure, you're going to find out the secrets of your family history. And her dad, if it is Nick Cage, is like the greatest treasure hunter, at least in this. Right. Yeah. And then at the very end, you get his best friend, Riley, or, Justin Bartha. The only one of the three that pops in. He's like, I can help you with that. I see it. I very potentially see it going that way with the daughter. I mean, that's kind of with the reboot era and remakes and everything that we have. That's kind of the easiest way to do it when you're doing a movie 30, 15 years later. But, if it's done right, I'm going to enjoy it.
Right.
Regardless. So
let's see. Let's move on here. Lily Ali asks, have you ever watched a movie or a show that actually did trigger a traumatic feeling for you? How did you handle reliving those feelings while watching? Well, luckily for me, I've lived a pretty blessed life, so I haven't had to deal with a lot of those kind of things. My family wasn't on the Titanic. I'm not related to Chadwick Boseman. My brother didn't get raped and murdered by Jeffrey Dahmer. None of those bad things ever happened to me. The most traumatic thing, honestly, if you want me to be real honest about it, is probably that scene in Austin Powers where he's like, "Daddy wasn't there," or when Andy loses Buzz and Woody at the gas station. That was probably like the most traumatic thing that's ever happened in Key's life. So thankfully, I've lived a really blessed life. Shout out to the universe for continuing to give me such a thing. But what about you, Lucas?
I mean, man, like, not that, because trauma is very, very vague. We've all been through a lot of shit in our lives, you know, and I like to stay positive about it. I am blessed. I have not had
I say quite
god awful.
If you're around me enough, you'll quite often hear me say, "My life's not a movie."
Right.
I mean, it could be at any moment. Any of our lives could become a movie
for sure.
But I like to think that my life isn't cool enough to be one. Right. You know, it's like people always talk about the end of the world, like, oh, the world's gonna end, you'll see. I'm like, no way, I'm lucky enough to be here. And all of the time that humanity exists, I'm here at the end. Yeah, right. My luck ain't that good. Right. that's like hitting the lottery times a million.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, I mean, that's
the universe lottery.
Right. Other than that, though, I mean, I have. There have been movies or shows and things like that. And like, I've talked about this before. I'm an actor myself. And so I would say more than watching a movie or a show specifically, there have been characters or like scenes and, you know, characters I've played that have really, you know, triggered those emotions or whatever. Typically I use them and lean into them. But the only reason I'm bringing that up is because on a broader scale, that's always, in my mind at least, been the purpose of art, but specifically theater and movies and things like that. And this is like the third time I'm saying this now, it's a cathartic experience. Sure. It is. You are able to experience it, whether as an actor or especially as an audience member. You're experiencing it, but you're detached from it. You know, you are, and of course, that's going to potentially probably bring up traumatic, you know, events in your life, but you're in a dark theater, you're in a safe space. My opinion is that unless it's overwhelmingly so, and I've been there, I have, but otherwise, like if it is triggering traumatic feelings for you, try and feel it out. Sit there and try and enjoy the movie,
try
and try
run
and
from your feelings or hate them.
Well, yeah, no kidding, but even more so, you know, kind of like with Black Panther, if it is triggering to you, try and tough it out if you can. You know,
yeah, you should not hate the way you feel. You should try to understand the way that you feel.
And what a beautiful way to do that than following a character going through very, very similar experiences that you are, come out on the other side of it on the beach and burn your funeral clothes, man. That is my favorite part about movies and art, is that catharsis. And yeah, I mean, obviously I want to be sensitive. But to answer specifically, though, I would say, you know, we've all had a lot of heartbreaks, a lot of ended relationships and stuff. Sure. So probably one of the worst might be that, you know, seeing a movie about that, things like that. Yeah. But I'm blanking on it now. And
right. Like even something simple, like I've never been in a car wreck and then like seen a car wreck in a movie and been like, oh man, that made me feel that time I was in a. Look, man, I guess honestly, I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm not the kind of guy to dwell on the past or dwell on things that have happened to me. I mean, yet like you said, Lucas, we've all been through shit. All of us, even the greatest of us all have all been through very harrowing situations. So. Anyway, we'll move on here. Lily Ali says, I think maybe people were expecting a bit more creativity with his passing in the movie. Well, I understand that, but how much more creativity could you want? He's not fucking alive, so it's not like you could just bring him in and have him die in a bed or something. Like, none of that makes sense, so you kind of got to work with what you have, right? I mean, he's dead. He's not there, so we can't bring him in. I guess we could have went into some detail and been like, oh, it's actually type 4, stage level 3 cancer, but did any of that really matter?
No, I was going to say, I think it would detract.
The fact of the matter is then the only thing you needed to understand as an audience member is T'Challa was dead and there was no way to stop it. He's gone. That they needed you to understand that, and what they did worked to do that. So did you really need to know, like, as a fan, are you really out there, Lily Ali, going, but what was it? I want to know, was it AIDS or was it herpes? No, I don't think you really care as a fan.
Let me say, I do care as a fan, but for a different reason. I think for the scope, for this movie.
For the version you care about is this. So Phase 5, we're towards the end. They're introducing this new character, and it turns out that character is what gave T'Challa the disease.
That's what I'm getting at.
That's what you care.
Like
Me too.
Dr. Doom
Me too.
had poison,
Me
right
too.
to stop.
I care like that. But as in that moment for that movie, do I care? Do I need to know more? How about that? Fuck caring.
No.
Did I need to know? Was it a need to know thing? What exactly killed T'Challa?
No, and like
what you needed to know was the motherfucker's dead.
And more than anything, I feel like the more they would have focused on that, I would have detracted from it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the point of the movie, and we've gone over this over and over, the point of the movie is dealing with
how
the loss.
He died.
It's dealing with the
point of the
loss.
movie isn't how he died. The point of the movie is he's dead, and now we're moving forward from that.
Man, I don't mean to keep jumping on a soapbox here, but maybe we should take some lessons from that. Maybe we can deal. We can deal with what actually killed him, if it's an outside threat, or if it was just whatever, if they never come back to it, whatever. Sure. But in the meantime, before we can even get to that, we got to deal with the internals. Right. We got to deal with our own emotions and grief so that we can get out there and potentially face the other enemy. So
Jesse Bailey says, Good Will Hunting was very emotional. He says he cries like a baby every time he watched it. Don't tell his friends. You just told one of your friends. A. And B, Jesse Bailey, I've never seen Good Will Hunting.
Oh, wow.
I know what it is.
Wow.
And I've seen pieces of it, but never from front to beginning have I seen Good Will Hunting. So let's see. Lily Ali says, honestly, I rolled my eyes hearing his death was from sickness in the movie. Let's say he didn't die in real life and they still use sickness as COD, cause of death.
Yeah.
Okay. Heroes can die. Guys, don't use what are they called?
Acronyms.
Yeah, acronyms. Right. I don't know these things while trying to do this live. Here's heroes can die from sickness. Okay, come on. I understand that to an extent, right? Because part of you wants to believe that your greatest heroes can't die. But even the greatest hero ever, if you don't know who he is, we'll reiterate it here. This guy.
Most invincible, for sure.
This guy right here.
Man of Steel.
This guy, just a few years ago, was actually killed and put into the ground 6 feet under and had a funeral and everything. And he is
my favorite.
The most powerful. He is the ultimate comic book character.
He is the Superman.
If he can die, then anyone's on the table, right? First of all, if you take the stake of death away, Lily Ali, then what do you have, right? These characters have to be able to die. To give you examples, there's lots of examples. As we know about Jane, she had cancer. Being Thor actually made the cancer worse. And she died from that. Obviously, we know kryptonite can kill Superman.
Magic as well with him.
Magic can kill Superman as well. There's comics where Steve Rogers, even though he has his powers don't keep him from aging. So he becomes just an old man, and he dies as an old man because his powers don't keep him from aging, right? So not everyone's powers can do these things. Not everyone is invincible. It wouldn't make sense to be invincible because then we're watching a movie and we know the outcome every time. The outcome is no one can kill this dude, so he's going to beat everyone. And that wouldn't be fun storytelling for anyone, right? So everyone has to have certain vulnerabilities. And yeah, listen, again, this is life. The truth is that we all thought Chadwick Boseman to an extent was invincible, right? I felt that way. Listen, we talked about it just last week on the show. People in Hollywood have access to better health care than everyone on the planet.
Other than the government, maybe.
Maybe, but even then, probably still have enough money to get to the access that the government or anyone else is getting. So I would think that, I don't know, man. There has to be, there can't be, she goes on to say, I'm not knowledgeable of comic books or superhero stuff, but I've always believed or assumed superheroes were invincible and couldn't die. Yeah, no way. All heroes die. All versions of comics, at some point, every hero dies. I mean, there's even like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, where he kills literally everyone.
Hulk and Wolverine, both impossible to kill.
Hulk dies, Wolverine dies. All of those, every story and every character, and just like every single thing we know in life, everything that has a beginning has an end.
For sure.
And that's no different with our favorite heroes, whether it be T'Challa, whether it be Daredevil, whether it be, Peter Parker, or Superman. No matter who it may be, no one's impervious to death, man. None of us are. We just aren't, and we never will be. Even the supered version of us, which isn't real, right, guys? This is just a thing that doesn't exist. But in this world, it would make no sense for these people to not be able to die. Because then again, you take away all the consequences of every fight every hero has. If you know he can't die, then when he starts fighting, the Abomination in the comic book, you can just flip to the last page knowing that, well, Hulk's not going to die. He can't. Right? It wouldn't be no fun that way if every character was that way. And yes, you have these more powerful characters like Superman, where it may take this one specific thing to kill him or to hurt him. But still, that thing exists. Whatever that one thing is, it exists. Even if it's one, for some characters, it's 100 things that can kill him. For example,
like kill you.
Exactly. Right. Like Tony Stark is just a dude in a suit of armor. So just like what happened to Rhodey, we seen what happened to Rhodey, right?
Paralyzed.
He's paralyzed. He lost his fucking legs. The reason he lost his legs is because he's
a human being in an iron suit.
I'll tell you why. Because he can't survive a fall from space.
or being sprayed by the Mind Stone, right? Because that's what knocked him out of the air and then crashed.
Right, exactly. And these things, right? We just know that all these characters have to have weaknesses.
Right. And we've seen T'Challa's dad die. We saw Killmonger die. You could argue that T'Challa's father didn't have the powers or whatever at the time, but Killmonger definitely did.
T'Chaka had the powers. Yeah. He was the Black Panther.
Not by the time he died.
When he died at the embassy?
Because his son had already done it, right?
No, he doesn't take on the Black Panther mantle until his dad dies, remember?
Even better.
That's what makes him have the fucking ability to do it.
You're right.
T'Chaka literally comes in Black Panther 1 in the Black Panther suit and kills his own brother.
Well, but that was like 90s. I just didn't know at what point, if he got too old.
But he was Black Panther as long as he was king.
That's fair.
Right.
Regardless, that's still my point is that we've seen a bomb in a United Nations building.
In fact, we're the type of people that complain about the fake deaths, right? Stop giving us deaths that aren't real, because again, then you take away the seriousness of it and the consequences of death. I mean,
don't get me wrong, I want Yondu back, but his death is so poignant.
But I say quite often that the greatest MCU death is Yondu, and the main reason is because that motherfucker ain't coming back. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We ain't seeing Yondu again. I know he's in the holiday special. And we may see,
I know.
But we may see like a past version of him or alternate versions of him now with everything going on. But at the time specifically, it felt like a very infinite ending to that character, and that's what made it so real. Unlike these, Nick Fury's dead, oh, he's alive, or
several fucking
we could go on, and that's not what you want, right? We wouldn't want to, find that out. That being said, I do want to quickly say that I said when they first said that they weren't going to recast T'Challa, I said in the beginning that T'Challa should be recasted. They should just recast it. If people die, things happen, and it's okay. But I said, if they're not going to recast it, then you better make it real. He died of cancer, and that's pretty much what happened. So,
well, yeah, more or less. And I want to say one more thing about what Lily Ali said about let's say he didn't die in real life and they still use sickness as cause of death. It's like you were saying at the beginning. If it was just that scheduling conflicts, or hell, he didn't give enough money or whatever, if they were to just be like, oh, he's sitting right next to us, but in the movie he died of a mysterious disease.
But he actually in real life died of a mysterious disease.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is that if it were a movie where that wasn't the background of it going into it, where the
then I would have, and then it's not good.
Yeah, my eyes would have rolled for sure. Get out of here. That's cliched.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's poignant, man. The fact that they actually did that, it's gonna strike emotion for you, no matter what.
I mean, my eyes rolled, like I said, at the idea that T'Challa's dying. He has the heart-shaped herb, and Shuri's trying to recreate it as if giving him more heart-shaped herb will somehow cure the disease. Even that in itself, now I can agree that that's just silly. That kind of makes no sense.
Here's the thing, though.
But then you could tell me, you could say, Shuri was desperate, and she was just so in a panic that she didn't know what to do to help her brother.
Right, and
it's kind of like I seen another YouTuber that I used to watch constantly saying that there's not one single good excuse for why Shuri became Black Panther and not Nakia. And I mean, dude, come on, did you not see the end of the movie? Nakia has a fucking child to take care of. Nakia has a kid to take care of.
Also, what? Nakia is not. She's not one of the royal family.
Sure,
I mean, if anything, it makes sense that
and she's also more of a spy, is what she is. I know she's a badass, and she goes in and gets Shuri out and takes people down, and I get all that, but that's still more of a spy situation what she did. And I don't think it fits. And again, I think when you have a child to worry about, it's easy to go, all right, here's this heart-shaped herb I printed with my fucking computer. Will you test it? It says it's got a 98% confirmation rate. So there's only a 2% chance, Nakia, that you just choke out and die. If I'm Nakia and I'm the mother of a fucking child, I'm going to go, you know what, Shuri? You made it. You're the ones whose family's been killed and murdered. Maybe you should
your
take this.
line. It's your family's line
all
too.
You created it in your lab.
Right.
I mean,
well, and not even just that too. Even before we knew that Nakia was a mother, she's not just a spy either. First and foremost, she's like a humanitarian. She's in Haiti,
but that's
serving
enough.
children.
Just having a kid is enough.
No,
just to say,
it is. I know.
Of course, she didn't want to fucking choose that.
I agree, absolutely. But this just gives even more credence to that, if you ask me, because as a humanitarian, I'm sure she views all of those other children that she's working with in Haiti as her children, man, exactly. in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, that's dumb. It's probably the dumbest take I've heard somebody take.
Let's move on. Jesse Bailey says, I think they all have a, quote, kryptonite. Yeah, for sure. They all do have some sort of weakness or thing that can be exposed. Or
a monster created specifically to kill him.
Again, Peter Parker or Spider-Man's a perfect example. Yeah, he's tough. Yeah, he's powered. But, man, if the Hulk got a hold of him, he could just rip him in half.
Yeah, he could.
So what is there to stop that? Where in your world of imperfect heroes where they can't die, what happens as he pulls them apart, like webs connect them back together or some shit? I mean, they can't all be Wolverine and Deadpool and Hulk. So,
but even with those characters, if I might add, that's kind of part of why I mean, I've said it before, Superman is my favorite superhero, and I think one of the reasons is because he is invincible. He's the Man of Steel until you get kryptonite or magic or doomsday, or you take him away from a yellow sun. I mean, you just have to get creative. But once the comic book artists do, and they think outside, yeah, it humanizes them. Which whatever, If you
can't not humanize everything.
Right.
We are humans.
Right.
Every comic book character is related to a human being, and it's right. Art imitates life. Yes, no doubt.
Just like life, just like every other. I mean, you could think of the universe or as a planet as invincible or whatever until another planet hits it.
Yeah, Ego.
Get out of here. Right, exactly. Right.
Let's see. Let's move on. Lily Ali says Jamie Lee Curtis this is her movies that she thinks of when she thinks of Jamie Lee Curtis. Halloween, and for Lindsay Lohan, she says Freaky Friday, and one I actually forgot, which is Herbie Fully Reloaded.
Yeah, me too.
Wasn't the hugest fan, but did own it and watched it quite often. That's for sure. And then Jesse Bailey says he was a foster child, and I've seen some. He says I was a foster child, and I've seen some stuff. I just didn't get to be smart.
You didn't choose to be smart.
Right. Yeah, and again, and if there was a movie coming out, that was touching on those things, and you were thinking, hey man, I've never really dealt with that shit, maybe you shouldn't go see the movie then. And, I think that's probably the best bet until you deal with those kind of things or anything with anyone.
Yeah. Or if you're ready to deal with those kinds of things, maybe go see the movie because it might help get through it. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a $12 movie ticket is a hell of a lot cheaper than a therapist.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right. Even one.
Right.
But yeah, with that down, guys, that is going to be it for our chat questions today. Thank you guys for being in there in the chat, interacting with us. As I always say, that's always the funnest part of the show is talking to you guys and interacting, taking your questions. Guys, I see there's 5 of you in here. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you thumbs up, like, subscribe, notification bell, all those good things. Don't forget, tell your friends, family, everyone. We're giving away an Xbox Series S on the channel. All you got to do is send in a super chat during a live show. Again, you could do that for as little as $1.99 and get yourself a brand new Xbox Series S for the holiday season that you could give away to yourself or your son, your daughter, your cousin, your nephew, uncle, your goldfish, whoever. But make sure you're spreading the love on that video because people need to win an Xbox. Somebody needs to win this damn Xbox. And we're almost to 20K subs. And when we get to 20K subs, we'll be giving that Xbox away. So make sure you're entering super chats during our live shows and you're sticking around for our 20K sub stuff. And we're going to give that Xbox away. So make sure you're checking it out, guys. I have been joined today by my friend, colleague, and co-host, Lucas Farney. Lucas, thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks, man. It's been good to be back, so.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, always fun. Always have a lot of fun. Guys, be here, same time, same place tomorrow. Hopefully Shane will be back with us. He's still dealing with some family stuff, and we wish him well and taking care of all of those things. Shane, we love you, buddy, and shout out to you and everything you got going on. I hope everything works out. But hopefully we have him back on the show tomorrow, and if not, maybe Friday, and maybe we'll have Lucas back here. Maybe I have to do a solo show. I don't know, but it's always good to have you guys here, so make sure you guys stick around. Come back tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll be here talking about movies, movie news, and trying to give away a goddamn Xbox. So we will see you guys tomorrow.